my god.
You sure I can't get in it like a cow? Whoa.
It is 1:41 in the afternoon on Saturday, December 9th, 2023. In the next 68 minutes, 114 homes will cease to exist. 4 will die despite taking shelter in their closets and basements. This is the story of December 9th, 2023. The day an EF3 tornado, with winds reaching 150 miles per hour, became the deadliest December tornado outbreak in Middle Tennessee's recorded history. Our story begins not on December 9th, but 5 days earlier, December 5th, 2023. Meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, are staring at computer models showing something unusual, something dangerous. Temperatures are running 15 to 20 degrees above average across Middle Tennessee. By December 9th, Nashville will reach 68 degrees, with dew points touching 60. These are April conditions. In December tornadoes had been historically rare in Middle Tennessee. Only 9 occurred from the 1800s through 2014. But since 2015, 28 December tornadoes have struck the region. Climate patterns are shifting. By December 8th, a 5% tornado probability corridor appeared over Tennessee and Kentucky. The morning of December 9th brought escalation. At 11:35 a.m. Central Standard Time, the Storm Prediction Center issued Tornado Watch 714, covering Middle Tennessee, including Montgomery County. The watch bulletin carried ominous statistics. It listed a 60% probability for tornadoes and a 20% probability for strong tornadoes rated EF2 or higher. Now let me explain what the atmosphere looked like that morning, because the numbers were extraordinary. Surface-based CAPE, the energy available for storms, exceeded 1,000 joules per kilogram across western Tennessee. That was significant instability for any season, and remarkable for December. Storm relative helicity, the spin in the atmosphere, measured between 200 and 300 meters squared per second in the inflow layer. That was highly favorable for tornado development. Deep layer wind shear reached 50 to 60 knots, sufficient to support long-lived supercells. The combination meant any supercell that formed would have the energy and spin needed to produce significant tornadoes. But here is what makes this story different. Here is what makes December 9th, 2023, a tragedy that should never have happened the way it did. The tornado warning system failed. 1:41 p.m. Central Standard Time. The tornado touches down approximately 5 miles south of Fort Campbell North, near Sabre Army Airfield. Initial damage is rated EF0. Scattered tree damage is reported on the military installation, but the storm is just beginning to organize. 1:43 p.m. Within 2 minutes, the tornado rapidly intensifies to EF1, with winds of 110 miles per hour as it crosses Walnut Grove Road. The Clarksville School of Fine Arts takes a direct hit. The building is completely destroyed. Gabriel Huff, the school's fine arts director, will later describe what he found. The school is literally gone. The whole upper floor of the school had been ripped away. What makes this destruction miraculous rather than catastrophic is this. The school's Christmas play had been originally scheduled for December 9th at 1 p.m. with nearly 300 attendees. Because one student was leaving the country, the play was moved to December 2nd, 1 week earlier. Huff later told reporters that if there had been 300 people in the building on the 9th instead of the 2nd, we would be talking about the destruction of possibly hundreds of lives, because there is nothing left of the theater. The theater is gone, but not everyone would be so unfortunate. 1:45 p.m. The tornado strengthens to EF2 with winds of 120 miles per hour. South of Britton Springs Road, it encounters a heavily wooded area filled with mobile and manufactured homes. The destruction is absolute. Dozens of mobile homes are completely destroyed. Some are swept away with virtually no debris left behind. 2 fatalities occur in this zone. Tanya Harmon and her family live near Fort Campbell. She recalls the moment the tornado approached. "We live by the base, and it sounded like a plane was coming really low to the house, and it dawned on me, that is not a plane." She ran to the door. I jerked open the door, and my daughter was running down the hallway with the kids. And I just took everybody to the floor and told them to please start praying. The whole house was shaking. You could just hear things being ripped apart around us, and trees falling. When the shaking stopped, Tanya opened the door. Everything just started calming down, and I opened the door, and my house was just gone. Everything was just gone. But the room we were in, it is perfect. The whole rest of the house was destroyed. 1:52 p.m. The tornado reaches its deadliest phase near Highway 41 and Ringgold Road, intensifying to EF3 with winds of 140 miles per hour. At Henry Place Boulevard, the storm reaches peak intensity, EF3 at 150 miles per hour. The National Weather Service would later describe this phase as very narrow and intense. 4 two-story brick and vinyl siding homes are completely leveled. Debris scatters 200 yards from where homes had stood. 3 of the 4 fatalities occur here. Arlen Cody, 10 years old, a 4th grader at West Creek Elementary, whose favorite team was the Los Angeles Lakers. His mother, Catherine Burnham, was at work when the tornado struck. She had called her children as the storm approached. I called the kids, and they told me exactly what they should do, that they needed to be in the closet. I remember Arlen specifically telling me that I was being dramatic and that everything was going to be okay. I just had a horrible feeling. Her children did everything right. It was not enough. My kids were in the closet, doing everything they absolutely could, and I still lost my son. Donna Allen, 59, had traveled from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to visit her son Eric Davis and his 4 children. None of Eric's children were home when the storm hit. Her son later shared, "This is the last picture I took of her Friday night by the Christmas tree." He described his mother as a resilient and joyful woman and the life of the party. Stephen Qua Hayes, 34, was sheltering in his sister Angela's home on Henry Place Boulevard. 7 people were in the house. Stephen was the only fatality. His sister Angela would later describe the horror. "You hear your mother screaming and the roof lifting up from your head. Then, once everything is done, just seeing your whole life, just everything, just destroyed. I never, in my entire life, will look at tornadoes the same way I did." Angela was pregnant at the time. Her baby, now healthy, and her 3 other children survived. She remembers trying to find her brother in the chaos. "I thought I heard him say, 'I am coming,' but I believe the front end of the house is what took most of the hit. He was like a big brother to everybody. Even though he was my little brother, he was really protective." 1:56 p.m. The tornado crosses into Kentucky, continuing its destruction through Todd, Logan, and Simpson counties. At 2:49 p.m., more than an hour after touchdown, the tornado finally dissipates. 2 miles southeast of Auburn in Simpson County, Kentucky. Total path length, 47.75 miles. Maximum width, 600 yards. Peak winds, 150 miles per hour. Duration, 1 hour, 8 minutes. 4 people are dead. 62 are injured. Damage will exceed $100 million. But here's what residents of Clarksville don't know yet. Here's the story that will capture the nation's attention. At Holt Park in North Clarksville, 22-year-old Sydney Moore, her 39-year-old fiancé Aramis Youngblood, and their 2 sons, Lord, 4 months old, and Princeton, 1-year-old, live in a mobile home. Sydney recalls the moment of impact. We just heard the wind start picking up, and then something put us into fight or flight mode. Something in me just told me to run and jump on top of my son. Literally, the moment I jumped on him, the walls collapsed. Baby Lord was in a bassinet. The roof came off first. The tip of the tornado came down and picked up the bassinet with my baby, Lord, in it. He was the first thing to go up. Aramis grabbed the bassinet and was pulled into the vortex, spinning in circles before being thrown free. Sydney was certain her infant was dead. I thought he was dead. I was pretty sure he was dead, and we weren't going to find him. For 10 agonizing minutes, they searched. Then, Aramis emerged from the woods carrying Lord in the rain. I saw him walking through the woods, carrying Lord in the pouring down rain, and all of his clothes were ripped. It was like a scene in a movie. The baby had been found in a tree, virtually unharmed except for a cut on his face treated with skin glue. Sydney's sister Caitlin wrote on a fundraising page that he looked like he was placed on the tree gently, like an angel guided him safely to that spot. Lieutenant Stephen Bryant of Clarksville Fire Rescue was among the first responders. A police officer had Lord in her arms. There was so much destruction, and it's a miracle that people weren't more seriously injured than what they were. Now let me tell you about the warning that came too late. Radar signatures clearly showed a dangerous tornado as early as 1:19 p.m. A tornado vortex signature, a debris ball, and a hook echo were all visible. According to meteorologist analysis, they were easy and straightforward to interpret. At 1:22 p.m., the hook echo had wrapped 360 degrees with rotation and debris clearly present. The tornado touched down at 1:41 p.m. The tornado warning for Clarksville proper was not issued until 1:45 to 1:46 p.m., after the tornado was already destroying homes. The National Weather Service published goal is a 13-minute average lead time before tornado touchdown. The actual lead time for Clarksville was -2 to 5 minutes. Meteorologist Mike Smith wrote in his analysis that no tornado warning was issued until 1:45 p.m. He called that shocking. Multiple survivors reported receiving no warning. Soldier Cameron McNeil, whose dashcam captured dramatic footage as he drove through the storm, said he did not hear about the tornado ahead of time. He did not get any alerts on his phone, and he did not hear any sirens. One resident posted that no sirens sounded, and that it all happened so fast with no warning. A contributing factor was that the Nashville radar was operating in 3-minute mode, rather than the recommended 80-second tornado sales mode that should have been activated given the tornado watch was in effect. This created gaps between radar scans at critical moments. 1 week later, on December 16, 2023, Penny K. Scroggins, 78, died from complications from injuries sustained in the tornado. She became the 4th confirmed fatality. But here's what the residents of Clarksville don't know yet. Here's the story that will define them. As darkness falls on December 9th, Mayor Joe Pitts declares a state of emergency and imposes a 9 p.m. curfew. Northeast High School opens as the primary Red Cross shelter. The next morning, December 10th, Governor Bill Lee and First Lady Maria Lee tour the damage by Black Hawk helicopter. The aerial views confirm the catastrophic scope. Miles of destroyed homes, churches, and businesses stretch northeast toward Kentucky. Fort Campbell's commanding general Brett Sylvia calls Mayor Pitts with an offer. We've got trucks and people, and they've got tools. Where do you want us? The 101st Airborne and 5th Special Forces Group would spend days cutting tree limbs and clearing debris alongside civilians. December 11th, Mosaic Church on Garrettsburg Road becomes command central. Pastor Aaron Maberry and worship pastor Matt Ammons coordinate an operation that will see over 1,000 volunteers appear on the first day alone. So many that officials have to request a temporary pause. School buses transport volunteers to 3 cleanup areas: Garrettsburg Road, Britton Springs Road, Evans Road. Volunteers complete what officials estimate is 2 weeks' worth of work in one day. Organizations pour in. God's Pit Crew arrives from Virginia with their immediate response team, tarping roofs, removing trees, and bringing a tractor-trailer load of toys for affected children. Mercy Chefs provides hot meals. Aerial Recovery, a Nashville-based veteran-run humanitarian organization, conducts welfare checks. Operation BBQ Relief sets up mass feeding operations. U-Haul offers 30 days of free storage. Local restaurants, including Thirsty Goat, offer free meals through the end of 2023. Acme Athletics opens a pop-up shop, providing free food, toys, and clothing to affected families. December 12th, pop star Taylor Swift, who attended Hendersonville High School in the region and began her career in Nashville, donates $1 million to the Tennessee Emergency Response Fund at the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. Hal Cato, Chief Executive Officer of the foundation, said Taylor's incredibly generous gift sends a message to her hometown that she has their backs during the long road to recovery. December 13th, President Biden approves the expedited major disaster declaration for Montgomery, Davidson, Dixon, and Sumner counties. The declaration activates the FEMA Individual Assistance Program, the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, Direct Federal Assistance, and Small Business Administration low-interest disaster loans. By January 2024, FEMA will approve more than $3.6 million for nearly 2,000 Tennessee households. December 15th, CDE light band crews, working 24-hour rotating shifts with 31 additional crews and over 200 line workers, complete full power restoration. 6 days after the tornado destroyed over 100 utility poles. Mayor Pitts walks through the devastation on December 10th, 2023. The term war zone is often overused in events such as this, but it was devastation like I have never seen up close before. There were foundations with no structures on them. We walked around that morning, surveying the scene. It was eerily quiet, and it was a cold December morning. He notes the tornado's indiscriminate path. This kind of devastation is no respecter of persons. We saw low to moderate income neighborhoods devastated, and just across town, we saw an upper middle income neighborhood with homes that were wiped off their foundations. Michelle Austin, Director of Clarksville Neighborhood and Community Services, leads the city's long-term recovery coordination. A Clarksville-Montgomery County long-term tornado recovery group is formed, partnering with HUD, Tennessee Housing Development Agency, and local nonprofits to provide comprehensive assistance, home repair, demolition, rebuilding, rental assistance. The city accelerates permitting and offers same-day building inspections. Mayor Pitts makes a commitment. Until they get the help they need and want, we won't stop, even if it takes 10 years. By the 1-year anniversary in December 2024, most affected families have rebuilt, found new housing, or begun reconstruction. Approximately 20 families within city limits are still awaiting home reconstruction. The Bluegrass Meadows Apartments, where demolished buildings had stood empty for months, see renovations completed and new residents moving in. The complex is turned back into a community. Catherine Burnham, mother of 10-year-old Arlen Cody, rebuilds on the same property where her son died. She installs 2 below-ground tornado shelters rated to withstand EF4 winds at 170 miles per hour. She is determined that no storm will ever again catch her family without adequate protection. She visits the site where her son's body was found. She would come here sometimes at night. She would sit at the cross and she would cry and scream. She cannot imagine being anywhere else because this is where her kid is. Of her surviving daughter Ella, who lost her best friend and brother, Catherine says that Ella lost her best friend. In a lot of ways, Catherine thinks Ella is sadder than she is. On December 7th, 2024, the city of Clarksville distributes free 2-foot caliper trees to 150 survivor families, symbols of growth, renewal, and hope. On the anniversary date, the West Creek community honors Arlen Cody by wearing purple and gold. Those are Los Angeles Lakers colors, his favorite team. It is a symbolic story Mayor Pitts continues to share. On December 10th, 2023, amid the devastation, a 7-year-old girl named Ellie stood in the driveway of her damaged home and sang "All I Want for Christmas Is You" for officials touring the damage. In a situation that was seemingly hopeless for many people, little Ellie was showing us the way. Today, 2 years later, if you drive through Clarksville, Tennessee, you might not even know a tornado hit, unless you know where to look. The houses are newer, more modern, but there are reminders. Along Highway 57, if you look closely, telephone poles still slant toward the direction the tornado traveled. But here is the remarkable thing. Clarksville did not just rebuild. The community grew stronger. Mayor Wes Golden, in his first term when the tornado struck, reflected on what the response revealed. He said that we always say it is our people that make this community so special, and it was truly amazing to witness the selflessness of Clarksville, Montgomery County. He said he has never felt more proud to be mayor. Police Chief David Crockerell captured the sentiment that has come to define Clarksville's identity. He said during this time of crisis, we bonded together, showcasing humanity and the strength of our community as we overcame adversity. We will always remain Clarksville strong. December 9th, 2023 stands as a stark reminder that violent tornadoes recognize no season. The deadliest December outbreak in Middle Tennessee history killed 4 people, including a 10-year-old boy who did everything right and exposed critical vulnerabilities in warning systems designed to save lives. Yet the tragedy also revealed the character of a community. More than 1,000 volunteers materialized within 48 hours. A commanding general offered soldiers with tools. A global pop star sent $1 million. Neighbors performed CPR on strangers. A mother rebuilt on the ground where she lost her son, installing storm shelters that would withstand even stronger winds. They learned that some things break. Some things can't be fixed. Some losses can't be recovered. But they also learned that you can build something new on the foundation of what was lost. You can take the pieces of what's broken and create something stronger. The wind still blows through Clarksville, Tennessee. It always has. It always will. But now the people know something they didn't know before December 9th, 2023. They know they're stronger than the wind.